It's called weights and measures. That's the way society worked. That's the way trade worked. When the weights and measures are in order, there is trust and there isn't corruption. When people begin to create false weights and measures, then we start to get corruption, not only of the merchant, but of the whole society. When we look closely at what's going on in our society, we really see an altering of the weights and measures. Now let's go a little further because that's obviously a metaphor. So since the 1960s, I did a study from the 1960s to 2010, we've seen a serious corruption of the mind of America. Teenage suicides have tripled. Violent crime has quadrupled. The amount of people in jail has fivefold higher. Depression is tenfold. Rates of alcohol and drug usage is skyrocketing. What's going on? Okay? And we look at the mass shootings and so forth. There is a cracking of the American mind. I'm going to say the world mind because these things aren't exclusive to America. Actually, America is only 11th in the world in mass shootings. You wouldn't think about it from the news, but it's important to know that. So let's go back to weights and measures again. When the weights and measures, which is our alignment with the divine, which is our definition of truth, begins to be altered. And as Jeremiah said, when up is down and evil is considered good, weights and measures, then we start to have serious corruption in society. And what we're seeing today is exactly that. And it's been a trend really since the 60s, and actually before that, where the weights and measures, the moral measurement in society, the moral definitions in society have been corrupted. False weights. We don't have iodine that we can trust anymore. We alter truth to suit our needs. And the result is what we're seeing. A trend that is a cracking of the moral fiber of our society, and I'm going to say the world society. This is really important to understand in the big picture when people look about, the Parkland shooting that people heard about. Hey, there's all kinds of things going on, and when you see the people at the top not following it and making their own weights and measures and going to the whatever, FISA court or whatever, false testimony, weights and measures are being altered, they're being falsified. And the third level of that, besides fake weights and measures, is really, the difference between truth and lies, good and evil, up and down. Everything is being altered. And we have moral relativism, which is really key to understanding this trend that we're seeing in our society. And really the breakdown of relationships too. What to do? What to do? Well, the first thing we have to think about is us. What are we to do? And where do we find the standard of any sort of truth is within ourselves. And I don't mean a feeling. I mean as we meditate, as we live the 6 foundations, we're able to get deeper access of really the truth again. And we're able to reestablish the weights and measures, the morals, the ethics, and really the spiritual purpose of life. So within ourselves, by going within, we're able to reassert the perennial cosmic teachings and lessons, the weights and measures. Now, when we move to the outer world, there's another way of looking at it. Are we taking the Word of God and altering it to assert our egoic needs? Interesting question. False weights and measures. So, the key then, if we're really to correct this in our society, which is what we have to do with money gets straightened out, is we have to have our internal weights and measures in terms of the truth of what it is, which is there's only God, and the truth of humanity, that we're really made in the image of God, and that gives us the empowerment to act as if we're in the image of God, which means we need to access that non-causal love, non-causal joy, non-causal peace, non-causal harmony, non-causal oneness that we truly are meant to be. Weights and measures. And so we need to measure when we're looking at things, is this really aligned with the perennial truth, or is it just a relative truth or a false weight that's been inserted to confuse us and to throw us off? So, in this very simple way, weights and measures, the Word of God, we as made in the image of God, and we act as that deeper truth of the image of God, we then begin to restore the weights and measures that are a cornerstone of living in peace, in harmony, and in love. I think everyone be blessed with this message, and we reconnect with the perennial true weights and measures. Amen. I hope.